going to talk about how we're going to achieve the outcomes that we all want here today. Because you know just how hard it is to get reform in this country. And how hard it is to get right. Let me finish. I've spent all my working life fighting for reform. I want to tell you that things like today, feet in the street, visibility, public support is really, really important. You have to make a noise and you have to make it loud.
Support the Green!
But the other thing you have to do to get reform is you have to do the hard work of building coalitions and of reducing the voice of those who oppose us. And that is hard work.
What about your conscience?
Let me tell you.
Vote for the Green!
It is only from government that we will get the reforms that we all want here. Only from government. Labor is the only party that has worked for equality and
Here's Adam. Let's bring Adam up. So round of applause, Adam Bandt from
Wow, what a turnout. This is superb. We're a week away from the end of an election campaign that hasn't been marked by the two major parties offering visions for a fairer and more sustainable Australia. Instead, what we've had is the two major parties act as if the only voters that matter are those in a handful of marginal seats in outer suburban New South Wales and Queensland. And so what we've had is a competition for who can be the toughest on asylum seekers, who can delay action on climate change the most, and who can take the most hardline conservative position against gay marriage. It is a blight on our national political debate that that's where we find ourselves. But that's what makes the election in this seat of Melbourne so interesting, because the choice isn't between two parties who increasingly believe the same thing, but the choice is between the Greens and Labor, and it's the only place in the country where that's the choice. And it will only take 1 in 10 people who voted Labor last time to come over to the Greens, and we will make history by winning our first ever seat at a general election. We have the opportunity to put this on the national agenda. Ruby Rose asked before, what is it that makes governments stand up and take notice? Well, there's one thing about leaders of political parties that they do take notice of, and that is when they start losing seats. And when seats start changing hands, not on the basis of who's going to censor the internet the best or who can be the most conservative and fall in line with the hard religious right, but when seats start changing hands on the basis of who is going to advance the cause of full equality the best, that is when the whole country is going to stand up and not only is a change of the election of the first Greens representative at a general election going to catapult issues like full equality to national prominence, but I can make you this commitment as well. It will be a priority for me in my first term, working with our various senators, including Senator Hanson-Young, to bring back the amendments before Parliament for yet another vote to make sure we remove discrimination. I will do that in my first term, and we will keep doing it until the laws of this country recognise a very basic principle, and that is that love is love, and love makes a family.
Here she comes.
Guess I left my world in somebody's hand. I don't like to hurt
transgender and intersex people. The introduction of that law had a noticeable impact on me and my classmates. Debates raged about the question. The most hateful and destructive ideas were thrown about. That there was something wrong with us. That we were different and lesser. Bigots were given a big green flashing light and they ran with it. But even then, there was resistance. A minority of us stood up to these ideas. We combated the filth of these homophobes. And we now have overwhelming support from the majority of Australians. Conservative estimates say that LGBTI people are at least 6 times more likely to commit suicide than their heterosexual counterparts. Homophobia kills! We know this, but what else do we know? We know from the research conducted around the United States that where same-sex marriage has been legalised, homophobic violence has decreased, mental and physical health for LGBTI people has improved out of sight, and as a result, there is less death. Yet 6 years later, after a full term of a Labor government, and now with an atheist woman Prime Minister, here we are again, still second-class citizens, denied our basic civil